This is Bedtime Stories, Grownup Edition, Unfinished Business, Part 9. And when we left off, Angela was as transparent with Q as she could possibly be under the circumstances. And frankly, the thought of both Angela and Amora keeping secrets from him sent Q over the edge. While he was sharing his dissatisfaction with God, Regina walked in and gave him a piece of her mind, a good fussing out, and a little comic relief. The next morning, Angela showed up at the hospital with a heart-healthy breakfast that she prepared at home from scratch, some movies, some music, and her laptop. Angela said to Q, "Listen, I have quite a bit of work that I need to get done. If you bear with me, I'll get it knocked out, and then we can watch movies, listen to music, whatever you want to do, between your therapies, of course. I'll have to leave around 2:30 to pick up Melissa, and I'll bring her by later on in the evening to visit. How does that all sound?" Q looked at everything that Angela brought, looked at her, and did the come here motion. Angela said, "No, you don't get to command my affections and then deny me your affections when the emotions that sparked the very first kiss are being suppressed by negative emotions. That's called manipulation, and I will not participate." Then she hooked up the digital player, handed him the food and the remote, sat down in the chair, and plugged up her laptop. As she was logging into her computer, Q said, "I apologize, Angela, and it won't happen again." Angela said, "And I accept your apology, Quincy." Q lowered the bed, raised the head of the bed, put down the rail on the right side of the bed, sat himself up, swung his legs over the side, and placed his feet on the floor. Angela looked up in shock. Q looked Angela in her eyes and said, "When I didn't have the words, I couldn't talk, didn't even know what to say. You knew what I needed. And when I said that was all I needed to do, every day, multiple times a day. Physical therapy, respiratory therapy, and God knows who else comes in this room and pushes me beyond my limits, leaving me frustrated, aggravated, and spent." And then Angela interrupted him and asked, "Are you supposed to be sitting up like that?" Q said, "Probably not, but this is important to me. I need you to know that when you walk in this room, I feel like I can conquer the world. So when I do this, my desires aren't limited to the physical. It means I need you. I need to feel your energy, and I need you to feel mine. It's what I need to feel like my world is in orbit. That's what you do for me." Q pulled himself to a standing position, and Angela jumped up and ran to his side to make sure he didn't fall. But when she got close enough, he grabbed her, pulled her to him, wrapped his arms around her, and kissed her long and completely. Then he eased himself back down to the bed, pulled her down on his lap, and said, "No is a complete sentence that ends all discussion. To me, it doesn't even leave room for compromise. I never tell the people that I love no. Just ask the Queen Mother. Find another way to communicate your dissatisfaction with me." Then he did the motion again, and Angela obliged. Meanwhile, LJ had driven out to the spa in Fort Worth. The Queen Mother had called and asked him to pay her a visit. When he arrived, she had a job for him. She shared with him what up until that time had been a close-kept family secret. Donovan had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder as a teenager. His diagnosis came after several years of inappropriate, spontaneous, sporadic, explosive behavior. That behavior hit its peak while Q was in college. Q wasn't there to see all the trials and tribulations that the family went through while dealing with Donovan's diagnosis. Donovan was hospitalized a number of times while doctors worked to find the right medication to help keep him stable. Unfortunately, Donovan's brand of bipolar disorder meant that he could be dangerous whether he was low or high, depressed or manic. For the last few years, the Queen Mother and Andy believed that Donovan was properly medicated and receiving the medical care that he needed. But over the last few weeks, his behavior had become more and more disturbing. And after the incident at his house the night before, Miss Bella knew that there was a storm brewing. and she was concerned that the situation with Amora was going to put the nail in the coffin. Miss Bella said, LJ, thank you so much for coming. LJ said, no problem, my dear, anytime. What can I do for you? The Queen Mother said, I know that this isn't your neck of the woods, but I need to hire you for a case. LJ chuckled and said, I can't take your money, my dear, but I'll do whatever it is that you need. What's going on? Miss Bella said, well, I got a situation with Donovan. When Miss Bella finished telling LJ all about Donovan's history and the situations that they'd been through with him and what was going on currently, LJ left the spa with a new assignment. His assignment was to keep track and trace on Donovan and to alert the Queen Mother if he was found doing anything that could be used to get him involuntarily committed so that he could get the help that he needed. After bouncing the idea around in his mind, LJ concluded that it would be best to get with Q and find out if he could use his team to handle the investigation. When he got to the hospital, he found Q and Angela laughing at one of Q's all-time favorite movies, As Good as It Gets. Sorry to interrupt movie night or movie matinee, I don't know what to call it, but I need to talk with you real quick, bro. Q said, you can speak freely, L. LJ said, good. I need to use your team for an investigation. Your mother tried to hire me today. Q said, what? She tried to what? Angela, can you give us? Angela said, no problem. I'll be out in the waiting room. Just let me know when y'all done. She gathered her purse and her laptop and went on out to the waiting room. And LJ said, I tried to talk to you about it privately, but you want to be all share everything with my boo. Q said, man, shut up. What is going on with my mother? LJ said, well, apparently your brother has some mental health issues. Q said, is he acting out again? LJ said, apparently your father knocked him unconscious yesterday. Q bust out laughing and said, you know I'm not supposed to laugh that hard. Oh. LJ said, dude, I wish I was joking. He really knocked that man out yesterday. And when EMTs came, they weren't able to convince him to voluntarily go to the hospital, and they said that they couldn't take him against his will. So Q said, right, so my parents need more evidence to be able to get a doctor to sign off on the IVC. Got it. No problem, man. Use whatever resources you need. But do me a favor, though, bro. Can you not share his medical information with anybody? Regina, Angela, anybody. One of the things that made it most difficult to get him the treatment that he needed as a teenager was his fear that everybody he encountered was going to know his personal medical information. There are medical things that people just discuss about other people so freely without any regard for how they might feel, how it might impact them. And mental health, that's one of those things. We're not ashamed. We're not embarrassed. It's nothing like that. It's just his business to tell. And so we made a commitment that that wasn't something that we was going to share with people all willy-nilly. You know what I mean? LJ said, yeah, but I never thought about it like that. I hear people all the time say, oh, my brother has depression. Oh, my sister's a schizophrenic. And I never thought anything of it. Q said, right. People are real callous with sharing other people's personal business. And we just don't rock like that. I wouldn't want somebody to be that cavalier with my business if it was me. LJ said, right, me either. No problem, bro. I got you. But if he's volatile, don't you think that might be something you want to let Angela know? Q said, I will, but when the time is right. LJ said, ain't nothing changed, bro. If Angela ain't safe, Q said, nobody's safe. I know. Shortly thereafter, the doctor came in wanting to talk to Q about his discharge and recovery plan. When Angie returned to the room, she was pleasantly surprised to learn that Q would be discharged the following Monday. Over the next few days, the entire crew, the St. James family, everybody prepared for Q's release from the hospital. LJ oversaw Q's staff while they tracked and traced Donovan, and he finalized his PI certifications and other licenses in Texas. Angela and Regina worked on the Vibrantly You business, and Angela prepared for her first meeting with the women's group on Saturday. She read the files of the rest of the women in the group and realized that not only did she have a diverse group of women, but they all had some very diverse stories and some very serious traumas. Angela decided that after she shared her testimony with the ladies and let them know that she'd read all of their files, she'd hold a short meeting with them where she'd talk to them about the hero's journey and give them some homework. And then she'd take Amora into her office and have a personal conversation with her.